Hello humans, welcome to another episode of Trigger Point Yin. I'm Meg Kokovai and I'll be leading you through your practice. Today we're going to talk about the trapezius and we're going to get into that muscle with some stretches and some trigger point. If you ever have chronic neck pain, if you've experienced whiplash, if you get headaches or head tension during stress, you might be having a problem with your trapezius. So before we get started, we will need both a lacrosse ball and a golf ball or something similar. It'll also be helpful to have a yoga block or something similar, a book, a brick, something that you have. And if you have a pillow or a folded up blanket, that would also be useful. So come to a comfortable seat, whether that is cross-legged or kneeling or in a chair. Let your legs ground down, allowing your lower body to get heavy. Let your spine grow up out of your hips, holding the spine strong, but letting the chest and the belly relax. Allow your breath to flow easily in and out, and you can soften your gaze towards the ground or close your eyes completely. Start to tune in to the rhythm of your breath, noticing where it moves in your body, how it moves in your body, if there's any place where it feels stuck or it feels like a stretch. And relaxing your shoulders, letting them drip down away from your ears. Feel all sides of your neck lengthen. And relax your throat. You might swallow or stick out your tongue, open and close your mouth. Relax that whole jaw, neck, tongue complex. And soften your face. Release any expression, any tension in the eyes or brows, or back by your temples or ears. We'll take a few rounds of box breath together. Exhale all of your air. Inhale through your nose for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause for 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 3, 2, 1. Pause for 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 3, 2, 1. Pause for 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 3, 2, 1. Pause for 3, 2, 1. Inhale and keep that going. Just inhale, pause, exhale, pause. And notice if you have a preference for any one of those sections, one of those parts of breath, and see if you can let that go. Feeling evenly relaxed, evenly smooth throughout all phases of breath. And take one more round just like that, and then you can come back to your natural breath, and we'll get right into a neck stretch, trapezius stretch. So when you're ready, you can come to sit on your knees, taking any props out of your way. And you can just sit back on your heels, and if you want to sit straddling a block or a pillow, that also works. You'll take your right hand to your left hip and pin it there using your left hand. Your elbow will be sticking out to the side like a little chicken wing, and then you'll sit up really tall, pointing your tailbone down, lifting your sternum, lifting the crown of your head. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bring your left ear towards your left shoulder. And you're pulling that right shoulder down in a way to create as much length as possible from your ear to the head of your shoulder. And breathe into it, breathing long and full. The top of your inhale will be the most sensation, the most stretch. Then keep your left ear over towards your left shoulder, but turn your chin down towards your collarbone, like you're trying to look out in front of your left shoulder. Let your head be really heavy, relax your brows, relax your face. And you can stay here for as long as you like, as long as it takes to find some relief, feel some relaxation into the stretch. And tip your chin up towards the ceiling, again keeping the ear pulled towards the shoulder. The head is still leaned over to the left, but now you're looking up, lifting the chin up, leaning the head back slightly. Keep even weight between your sit bones. Stay here for one more full breath cycle. And bring your head back up through center. Release your arms, shake them out. You might have gotten a little tingly in your right arm. Just stretching muscles over arteries can compress blood flow, but it'll all come back to normal in a moment. Roll your shoulders back a few times and roll them forward. And we'll take the other side, pinning your left hand to your right hip. And if it doesn't get all the way over to your hip, you can always just grab for opposite elbows or opposite forearms instead. But make sure you're not creating a big sway in your lower back, dumping into your lower back. Keep that all long and your hip even. So again, either grabbing for opposite elbows or towards opposite elbows, or pinning that left hand onto your right hip. Sit up nice and tall, deep breath in. Exhale, right ear towards right shoulder. Feel that length from the head of your shoulder to the tip of your ear. And breathe into it. You can let your eyes roll back into the sockets, tuning in more deeply to the sensation and the flow of your breath. Then tip your chin down towards your collarbone. As if you're trying to look out in front of the shoulder down at the ground. And listen for the sound of your own breath. Trying to hear it flowing in and out, having that oceanic sound as it moves. And you can, again, hold this stretch as long as you want. We're going to stay here for one more breath cycle. And then tip your chin up towards the ceiling. Head is still leaned over to the right. Relax your jaw, unclench your teeth. Stay for one more breath in. One more breath out. Bring your head back up through center. You can release your arms again, shake that out. And inhale, bring your shoulders up to your ears. Exhale, take them back and down. All right. We are now going to get into our trapezius trigger point. We're going to start using a golf ball. You'll also need your block and some sort of pillow or rolled up blanket here. I'm going to use my bolster. So you're going to be placing the golf ball about in line with the back of your ear, down in the crick of your neck. So in this corner of your neck where your neck starts to meet your shoulder, that is where you're going to want the lacrosse ball. And it's not perfectly on the side. If you imagined the side of your neck being divided into 3 sections, the most forward section, the most medial, the most middle section, and the most back section, you're going to be on that back section, that posterior section of the side of your neck. So you can again trace down from the back of your ear and land it right in that corner of your neck and shoulder. So once you have that, I'm going to demo on my right side. You're going to be in a side lying position. And it helps to have the golf ball elevated on something to get into that and leave space for your shoulder. But then you want to have your head be able to rest on something as well. So you're going to hold that golf ball exactly where you want it until it is in place with the weight of your body, and then you can relax. Oh, mine just slipped out. And the sensation here can be a lot. I'm really feeling it in my frontalis, in my forehead, and it is triggering into a place where I get headaches. So that might be the experience that you're having. You might feel this up in your face, up in your head, in places where you get headaches, if you get headaches. So try and relax into that. Know that that is a totally normal response. You're just having the radiation into the system of tight muscles, into your particular brand. I don't know what the word is. Your particular system of tightness. And the more that you can relax, the more that it will go away. And you can use that as information of where else you might want to massage or do trigger point or get some other type of therapy. Your pattern of tension, that's what I was trying to think of. And then see where else you can relax. I was obviously just gripping this yoga block, so I can relax that hand, I can relax both of my hands, I can relax my face, I can relax my hips, not pushing my legs down, not flaring my toes, and keep scanning your body up and down for places where you can relax. And you can stay here for as long as you like. I am going to come out of this and move on to our next trigger point. And it might only take you a couple minutes to relax. It might take you 15-20 minutes to relax. It might take you longer. There's no limit on time, except for you probably have other things to do in your day. So the more you can relax, the better. The faster that you can relax, obviously, the better. But don't rush it, right? If you just jam a lacrosse ball into your neck for 1 minute and then get up, it might just get sore and be irritating. So don't do that. All right, so for the next one, you are going to need, again, your pillow or bolster or something like that, and we're going to graduate up to a lacrosse ball. And we're going to get it into another point in the trapezius. So if you reach over your shoulder and follow the top edge of your shoulder blade, of your scapula, you can follow it in towards your spine until there is a corner, right? It'll go down at some point and create this inner upper corner of your shoulder blade. Just to the inside of that corner is where you are going to want your lacrosse ball. There's no prescription of what side you need to start on. If you're going to do the neck on one side, I would do the same side and then move to the other side. So yeah, I'm just going to do all of my right side. So grab your pillow wherever you're going to lay down. Have that above your head so that it is available. Like that. All right. So I'm going to lay on my back and place the lacrosse ball just to the inside of that upper corner of my shoulder blade. And I'm just going to relax into it for a minute. So you can decide how your legs will relax the best. You can keep your feet planted. If you do, maybe knock your knees together so you're not putting so much effort into your legs. Or you can bring your feet together and your knees wide. I've been horseback riding recently, so my inner thighs are tight and that doesn't feel comfortable. So you can also just extend your legs. Now, after you settle into it for a couple of breaths and do any adjustments that you need, you can adjust it up, down, right, left. If you're not feeling very much sensation right where you put it, it doesn't have to stay just there. The trapezius is a big muscle. You can move it a quarter of an inch really in any direction. You don't want it to be on top of the bone. That's the one thing that you do want to avoid for this one. But a little bit of adjustment in any other direction is fine. So get some movement in that arm. You can bring your hand in close to your shoulder and draw some circles with your elbow, like a little chicken wing. You can also bring your arm up towards the ceiling like a zombie arm, or out to the side like a wing. And then I have this pillow above my head because a lot of times having the arm above the head creates more sensation and gets just deeper into this muscle. As soon as I brought my arm above my head, I could feel it in the back of my skull a lot more, that radiation going up the back of my neck and into the back of my head. But I say have the pillow there because oftentimes the arm doesn't want to come all the way to the ground. It'll just sort of scoot out to the side unless you're really flexible and open in your shoulders. So to avoid that, you can grab a pillow, put it over your head, and then rest your arm on that pillow so you're not putting effort into lifting that arm. And then you just hang out and breathe and check in with your body and make sure that you're not resisting gravity or clenching. You can scan all the way from the soles of your feet, making sure that skin is relaxed, wiggling your toes and letting those soften again. Letting your legs get really heavy, checking in with the glutes, letting those sink down. Softening in the belly and feeling your belly rise and fall with your breath. Relaxing your ribs, the skin across your chest, your shoulders. Letting the arms be heavy, taking the effort out of the neck. And then again, checking in with the face. And after you've rested here with maybe your arm up on your pillow, maybe your arm out to the side, you can change position. So after a while, if you relax into it and you're feeling less sensation, maybe you do take that arm off the pillow. You can also tuck your hand behind your head. And this can really intensify. Again, you can tuck your hands, both hands really, behind your head and let your elbows open up, and that'll get into it pretty well. But again, whatever shape you choose, make sure it's a shape that you can relax in and a shape that you can breathe in. If you ever find that you're not breathing, you've gone too far. Never get to a place where the sensation is so intense that you're holding your breath. If you do find yourself there, come out of it, pause, maybe shake that off for a minute, and then you can come back to it, maybe propping yourself up a little bit more so it's not so intense. Whenever you're ready, whenever you feel done, you can come out of it. Set your lacrosse ball aside. Maybe give yourself a hug. Getting some movement in your shoulders. You can again get some movement in the sides of your neck. And especially tipping your chin down towards the collarbone, that'll get more into the trapezius. There is a lot of overlap between the traps and the levators. So, for example, when we got into that spot at the top corner of the shoulder blade, that is also a good place to get into the levators. And when I gave the cue to put the hands behind the head, that is a really good way to get into the levators. So I would like to do one more example of a trap and levator stretch, and one more trigger point for the trapezius, the lower trapezius though. So when you're up in this upper shoulder blade, upper corner of the shoulder blade, you're definitely getting into the levators and the upper traps. Now we're going to head down lower into obviously the lower traps because they do make this big trapezoidal shape on the back. So starting with the stretch, you can again come onto your knees, and it'll be really similar to the other one that we did, but you're going to tuck your hand in your knee pit or in your knee crease or in the space between your calf and your thigh. I'm trying to make that as clear as possible. So as you can see, that's really pulling my shoulder down. And then from here, I'm going to take my opposite arm over my head to just behind my ear. And then I'm going to tip my chin down towards my collarbone. I'm actually going to move my hand back a little bit because I think that's going to feel better for me. So I'm not yanking on my head, I'm just letting the pressure of my arm, the weight of my arm, pull my head down. And the eye of my elbow is going to roll forward, so that's opening the shoulder, seating the shoulder blade down on my back, and then, so right arm is down, tucked in, chin towards the left collarbone, right? Hand is reaching behind my head, hand is just behind the ear, and letting the weight of my arm tip my head down, tip my chin down towards my collarbone, my nose down towards my chest. All right, whenever you're ready to come out of that, shake it out, and then you would take the other side, again tucking your hand into your crease. I don't really know what to call it, your knee pit, sort of. Oh, and if this doesn't work for you anatomically, you can always use a blanket or a strap or something, and instead of tucking your hand in, you can hold on to a blanket and then sort of lean away from it. So I'm holding on to this blanket that is tucked underneath my knees, and then I'm leaning away. And then same thing, take your hand, opposite hand, just behind the ear, and tip the chin down towards the collarbone. And you might find that one side is a lot tighter than the other. That's my experience right now. This side is feeling a lot more stiff, a lot more tender. And when you're ready, you can come out of it, shake that out, and put any props that you're using aside. And then we're going to get into that lower traps trigger point. So we were up by the upper inner corner of the shoulder blade. Now we're going to go down almost to the bottom of the shoulder blade. So when I put my hand behind my back, you can see that my shoulder blade sort of pops out. You can see it a little bit better. When it's laying on my back, the very bottom tip of my shoulder blade is right here. So you're not going to go in line with the tip. You're going to go a little bit above that. And that is where you're going to want the lacrosse ball. So a couple inches above the base, the bottom tip of the shoulder blade. And same thing, you're going to lay down on your lacrosse ball. It's going to be to the inside of the shoulder blade, but tucked in close to the shoulder blade. And make sure your legs are comfortable and relaxed. That can be feet on the floor, knees together, knees wide, legs extended. And once you get here, do some movement with your arm. You can draw big circles with the arm. You can do some snow angel shapes. And then wherever you feel a good amount of sensation, just rest the arm there. So it's nice to have some sort of prop available, a rolled up blanket, a pillow, something to rest the arm on if the arm doesn't want to rest all the way to the ground. And because your trapezius is such a big muscle and is going to go all the way from the base of your shoulder blade to the top of your shoulder blade and up into your neck, you can just scoot yourself down a little bit to roll the lacrosse ball up higher and get into a different spot in your trapezius. So there's a lot of muscle to work with. So if you get into this and you're like, I'm not really feeling that much, this isn't doing a lot for me, scoot up or scoot down just a pinch until you do feel sensation. Then you can hang out here for as long as you want, probably a little bit longer than you want. And when you're ready to come out of it, you can come off of your lacrosse ball, set that aside, roll out your shoulders once you come up. And of course, you'll do the other side as well. And then get back into your day. And whenever you're finished, I always suggest to take a couple minutes laying down flat on your back to check in with your body to see how everything feels. And you can lay in a symmetrical anatomical position. That's just flat on your back, arms out by your sides, palms face up, letting everything relax, just to check in. So I hope that offered you some relief. And until next time, I hope that you can let go of something.